Great. Thank you, everybody, for inviting us. I'd like to thank Ted and the state of Hawaii and all of you for attending this meeting. What I wanted to do today was take you through some of our history in electric vehicles and talk about why we think electric vehicles are great for Hawaii. So let me start off with some introduction. The Nissan vision. We are looking to be one of the leaders in electric vehicle and sustainable transportation. So one of our, the statement from our CEO, Mr. Ghosn, he is the CEO of both Renault and Nissan. He said, "A new era is beginning in the global auto industry. At Nissan and Renault, we are working together to lead the way to mass market zero emissions mobility." So when we talk about mass market, we think that it's very important to set the stage, have the global presence, have global scale. And we're working not only to bring a car to the market, but we're also planning to create this scale, the partnerships with different countries, different local governments, and local utilities. We're also working with infrastructure providers, the specialists that put the charging equipment together, so the whole system works in a very cohesive manner. And our goal is to move closer and closer to a zero-emission society. So the reasons for bringing electric vehicles to the market now, we see a very huge risk to our planet unless we mitigate global warming. And if you look at the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, unless we can stop the rise in temperature and stabilize it, we'll be at great risk. So what we aim to do is reduce the amount of CO2 that's emitted from new vehicles by 90% by 2050. And to do that, the only way is to really have battery electric vehicles and fuel cell vehicles, so vehicles that emit zero CO2. So this slide goes into some of the history. We've been working on lithium-ion batteries and electric vehicles for almost 20 years. We've had our first vehicle, the Prairie EV, in the mid-90s, but we've been working on the lithium-ion battery technology. And that's progressed since the big cylindrical type lithium-ion batteries to now we have a very compact laminated cell. It's about like a notebook size in width. Our vehicle, the Nissan Leaf, has 48 modules. Each module is created using 4 of those laminated cells. And so we have 192 cells in total in that vehicle. But we've been doing a lot of work in the design area. If you see that vehicle, it's a kind of a bubble. It says Pivo 2. That's a vehicle that we showed at the Tokyo Motor Show. And that's a design exercise, and that shows what can be done with electric vehicles. If you, that vehicle has a motor in wheel, so the motor's not in the typical engine compartment, it's in the wheels. So that really frees up the architecture of the vehicle and allows you to do a lot of new things. So that vehicle, you can come into a parking space, has a rotating cabin, so to leave the parking space, you just rotate the cabin and you drive out. Or if you want to parallel park, you just pull up to the spot, turn the wheels, it parks like that. And so it's really convenient and it allows you a lot of flexibility. So this is what I was talking about in terms of scale. We have multiple production locations for the vehicle and the battery. So for North American production, we'll be building our vehicles in our Smyrna, Tennessee plant. Eventually, we're going to have 200,000 unit capacity for those vehicles, and well, actually 150,000 for vehicles and 200,000 for the battery packs. And we have similar capacity across the globe. So this is, just wanted to get into some basics. So on the top, you have EV. The Leaf is a zero-emission, electric-only vehicle. So it has a plug in the front. You connect it, it feeds the battery, and the motor is driven off the battery. There are also plug-in hybrids. In that case, you have a plug, you feed the battery, but if you need more fuel, I guess you use a gasoline engine. So the difference is the EV is zero emission, the plug-in hybrid is not zero emission, but they both work on electric drive. So this is the competitive landscape. Not all the vehicles are shown here. This is just an example, and sorry, I don't have the code up there. But we see the Ford Focus, Mitsubishi i-MiEV, the Mini E already on the market. Those are EVs. You look at the Chevy Volt or Toyota plug-in Prius. Those are plug-in hybrids. Those are going to be coming to market soon. So in terms of the specifications for the Nissan Leaf, I think the key things to remember, and you can see it after the meeting, it's on the concourse. It's a 5-passenger vehicle. It has a 100-mile range on the LA4 test cycle. And in order to prove that, we took the car around the island on Sunday. We took off from Waikiki. We went to the North Shore. We went all the way around 83 and drove back on 63. It was a 90-mile loop, and we used about 70% of our battery. So I think in Hawaii, we're going to be able to have a range higher than 100 miles. If you live in a cold climate where you use a lot of heater and you have a lot of stop and go, your range is going to be lower than 100. But in certain areas like Hawaii, you might experience more than 100 miles. So it really depends on the specific conditions of your market and how you drive the vehicle. It's how much range you get. So one of the key parts of our story is affordability story. So the base price is $32,780. And as Ted was mentioning, there's different incentives. So there's a federal tax incentive that's $7,500. That brings your price down to $25,280. And with the state incentive of $4,500 for the vehicle, it's almost $21,000. So it's, I think it's an affordable vehicle. If you look at some of the data up here, California, Colorado, Georgia, they all have large vehicle rebates, so, or incentives. They're not all rebates. Some are tax credits. There's also a credit for the charging equipment. So there's a federal tax credit of up to $2,000. That's 50% of the acquisition and installation cost of the EVSE, up to $2,000. So when we're talking about battery technology, our cell is, again, a lithium ion. It's a laminated cell technology. So if the cell is on the right side, it packs into a module, and 48 of those modules go into the vehicle. The battery pack on our car is packed beneath the passenger compartment, and that's for a couple reasons. One is for safety of the cell. So all the metal structure around the frame is going to protect the cell. And it's also good for dynamic stability. With the weight low and in the center of the vehicle, it allows for good dynamic handling and ride comfort. And it maximizes the packaging, the interior space of the cabin. So we don't have to package it behind the seat where you lose storage space. I think this is an ideal condition for an EV. And in terms of market rollout, by January 2011, we'll be in 7 states. So we'll be in Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Hawaii, Texas, and Tennessee. By April 2011, we're going to add some of the southeastern states. And hopefully, by the start of fall 2011, we're going to start adding other markets. And the other markets will be added based on their market readiness. So I think Hawaii has shown a lot to their market readiness in terms of public policy in place and a lot of the things that you guys here are working on. So as markets in the Northeast and the North Central area get ready, we'll add those markets too. So interest in the state of Hawaii. We have 1,400 hand raisers in the state of Hawaii. And a hand raiser is a person that has expressed interest in the Leaf. They've signed up on our website and said, yeah, I want some information, or I want to buy the car within 1 or 2 years, or I want to buy the car as soon as it comes out. So there's different levels, but those are hand raisers. We have 300 reservations, people that have put down $99 to reserve a spot in line. And the interesting to note for Hawaii, it has the highest conversion rate of any state in the country. So I think there's a lot of people that are interested and a lot of people that are highly motivated to get a vehicle. If you look at, this is the map of the island of Oahu, and the dark red areas show the areas that have the highest density of reservationists. So I think, as you would expect, on the around Honolulu, there's probably the highest density, but there's also pockets in other parts of the island that are also very interested in the Leaf. So kind of to sum up, why the Nissan Leaf? I think there's 3 main points that we want to hit, and one is the affordable, sustainable mobility. We talked about the price, but it's also sustainable. It has no emissions. There's no tailpipe. It's almost entirely recyclable, including the battery pack. And you have a very low total cost of ownership. I know here in Hawaii, the price of gasoline is higher than on the mainland. So your cost of ownership equation is actually better when you use electric. Typically, it's 20 or 30% of the cost of using gas. So in some cases where you have the higher gas prices, it's even better. It's a unique driving experience. I know some of the people here have driven the vehicle. It's very quiet, it's smooth, has responsive acceleration, and it's a real car. It has room for 5 people, and there's equipment in the car that adds a lot of convenience. So navigation is standard. There's a lot of features that are standard on this vehicle that you probably wouldn't get on a $30,000 vehicle. And it's always connected. So there's a integrated system where it communicates via cell signal, and there's a global data center that feeds information back to the driver. So you can have a smartphone and see where your state of charge is on your battery. You can use your smartphone to preheat and pre-cool your vehicle. Probably don't have to preheat that much here, but you can pre-cool while it's connected to the grid. So you can punch in, I want to start cooling my vehicle at 4:45, and by the time you get to your car at 5, it's at a comfortable temperature. There's also information that you can get back from the global data center in terms of how you use the vehicle. You can access that on your smartphone or on a PC. And that always connected feeling is, I think, very important because it gives you a peace of mind. You'll know where all the charging stations are because of the navigation screen. It'll show all the charging stations that are within your drivable area. And why in Hawaii? I think one of the things that we mentioned earlier is very strong government support in the state of Hawaii. We've met with the state, with the utilities, and everybody's very positive. And it's an ideal environment for an electric vehicle because there's a temperate climate, very short average commuting distances, high gasoline prices, and I think people in the state of Hawaii are especially eco-minded. They want to preserve the natural beauty of the state. So this is just a couple pictures of some of the vehicles that we plan to bring in the future. We're not only going to bring out the Leaf. There's going to be other vehicles. We're going to plan a light commercial vehicle, urban commuter vehicle, and an Infinity vehicle. So there's more in the pipeline. So that's the end of my presentation. I just wanted to announce that we're going to have a Pan-Pacific Roundtable Tuesday from 4 to 5:30 in room 327, and in that meeting, we're going to share experiences from some of the Japanese cities that we're working with. So the city of Kyoto, city of Yokohama, city of Kitakyushu, the prefecture of Okinawa, and Kagoshima. So if you come to that meeting, you'll hear some of the international perspective and get some idea of what's going on in Japan. Okay, thank you very much.